afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fic podcast. Once again, we are here to review a brand new episode of Monsters at Work. My name is Flo, representing California. We got Mr. Crockpot, aka Dives, representing Philly. And I gotta say, Dives, let's just jump right into it. Spoiler review. This is a spoiler review. If you haven't seen it, please go on Disney Plus and check it out. Just you know what? Disney Plus, Pixar, are you guys listening to this podcast? Are you guys hearing me and Dives? Because literally everything me and Dives talked about last week for the premiere, what we requested was given. We were given some heart. I was given a little bit more for Mike Wazowski. Yeah. And boy, oh boy, this was a delightful episode. It warmed my heart, Dives. What about you, man?
You nailed it, man. Like that was like a little bit of a concern. Like I was pretty lukewarm with the first two episodes, but man, did they knock it out of the park in this episode? Should I give my initial impressions right now?
Oh, 100%, man. Kick us off. Yeah.
Beyond happy to see that Mike and Sully are still around. I could watch Mike and Sully take care of a baby all freaking day. The part where they're acting as that like old married couple and arguing about like takeout food. We used to love it. Not anymore. We had a kid. They had a kid for like literally 2 hours. Flat out hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love how Mike was put in Sully's position in this episode. There was some nice character continuity. Myth is starting to grow on me a little bit. You even had Bob Uecker as Bob Yucker. He's the baseball broadcaster that I think for the Cubs, but from the Major League movies. You ever see the Major League Baseball movies?
I mean, I'm familiar, but you knew the announcer guy. I had no idea.
Oh, so good. So yeah, you nailed it. Like one of my biggest concerns was that lack of human element, which was like the true heart and soul of Monsters, Inc. Some of the best parts of those movies is that human monster dynamic interaction. And some of the best parts of this episode was exactly that. I'm so happy it's back. They really knocked it out of the park. Best episode yet.
No doubt, man. And I love that it wasn't exactly a retreat of Boo. Because I was concerned that when I saw the kid, I was like, oh, here we go. And I was worried that they were going to repeat the same punchlines and beats, but it actually took a life of its own. And I liked the decision of, oh, wait a minute, you can't go to a baseball game without me, Sully. And that was great because, I mean, who doesn't? Everybody gets FOMO, that feeling of missing out. I can relate to that a lot. And especially for yourself and for me, I mean, what new parent doesn't know that feeling like, oh, my God, I need to go to this. Who's going to watch the baby? Yeah. Like that is a very real thing that parents can connect with. It'll go over the kids' heads that are watching the show. But that kind of stuff is why adults relate to Pixar and enjoy Pixar, because Pixar gets us. Yeah. And 100%, that was fantastic. And honestly, like, I was worried that Billy Crystal's singing would get old, but that damn song number at the end of the episode was just wonderful, especially like the playful, I don't care about you, I don't care at all. That was wonderful. Billy Crystal is a comedic icon, and his singing chops are just, I remember when I was a kid watching him host the Oscars, so he can sing as much as he wants to. Yeah. I think it fits the show perfectly. One more thing I wanted to touch on in initial impressions is I like that they're expanding on this maintenance mythos, and also the fact that they're finding interesting ways to integrate the maintenance, like Flem from Monsters Inc. With the jacks on his butt sneezes and his sneeze is like acid and they burn a hole in the wall. That's a really interesting way to get maintenance involved. Like, okay, we got to fix the room, and I really enjoyed that premise. So with that being said, man, let's go right into memorable moments. What stuck out to you, Dives, in this episode?
You stole it, man. You stole it, you a-hole. Like that. My favorite moment was the beginning segment of the show when Flem in the beginning, like he has a cold and he sneezes and he slips and he lands on the jacks and he blows acid into the wall, and absolutely hilarious. I just lost it laughing. I love how it was an awesome throwback to the beginning, to the original film Monsters Inc. Same characters, same issue, same thing happened at the end of Monsters Inc. So just another amazing callback. We talked about nostalgia in the first two episodes during our review. It was just in this third episode. It was just awesome to revisit that moment. So that's my favorite moment.
You know what's funny is you actually mentioned my favorite moment already, because Sully and Mike at the baseball game bickering over the baby, that was just gold. Like, and then Mike had to deal with the stinky diaper, and then Sully's like, "Oh, that's all you, bud." Just sipping his drink, like, "Yep, that's all you. I'm good." Like,
And he's giving
that was
advice.
great. And it's just like between Billy Crystal and John Goodman, like they just play that perfectly. But I also wanted to do a quick shout out to Mindy Kaling's character Val. She was really like in Tyler's ear about, remember this? Remember in college? And it's funny because I guess in reality they weren't as close as she would like to remember. But I think for anybody that has ever felt alone or outcasted at school, or maybe you moved to a new school and you didn't know anybody, like I totally leveled with that feeling. And again, we're inserting some heartfelt moments here, and I love that she was like, "You were the first person to talk to me," and I love that bond. Tyler was like, "You know what? I do remember that. I remember where you sat. You had the best seat in the house," and great moment. And it's just like, for a 20-30 minute episode to do those kinds of things and pull on our heartstrings in that short amount of time, that's Pixar magic. So yeah, with that being said, man, what would you grade this episode, and what else are you looking forward to with this season?
You nailed it, man. This is like all of our concerns in the first two episodes really took off here and made me very happy about the direction of this series. It's moving in the right direction. I give this a 9 out of 10. Just to piggyback off of like Val, it was just such a sweet moment where Tyler was like just showing Val that she's not a nobody. She's worthwhile. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Tyler's starting to enjoy himself a little bit as part of the myth. So that I love how I give it a 9 out of 10. I love how they've got the main duo. They've got Mike and Sully, but at the same time, it still feels like we're getting some really heavy lifting here between Tyler and Val and the rest of the myth crew. So 9 out of 10 for me. It was really, really good. I really had a fun time.
Yeah, between the 3 episodes, this is 100% my favorite, bringing the human kid element. Mike Wazowski being more than a punchline, showing some heart. I love that he named it Lil Snore because he didn't want to call it a thing. But I also loved how initially he was like, "You see this? You see a bucket. I see a thing carrier." It's just like, Billy Crystal is amazing. I love the guy. He's a comedic icon. And honestly, having him and John Goodman back for this series, they easily could have said no. A lot of film properties that went to television didn't keep the voice talent, like Lilo and Stitch and Little Mermaid, and even like Lion King and all that. So to see like John Goodman and Billy Crystal do this show, it's just it enhances the experience. So I'm actually gonna give this a 9.6.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it so much. I love the song. I love the baseball thing because it's so one thing I love about Monsters Incorporated is the vast monster world that we're experiencing. But to see a baseball game, to see like, what was his name? Tyler McLaughlin, whatever, the monster, and then like the way they play baseball is 3 pitches. And it's just interesting how they keep expanding on what we love and what we know. So that type of like world building is just wonderful to experience. Go ahead.
No, nailed it. Yeah, I was just about to say, like, the world building was really strong in this episode. No doubt.
Yeah, so I know this wasn't the most exciting thing to talk about today, but that wraps it up. So if you enjoy the stream, please like and subscribe down below. Next Wednesday, we will review another episode of Monsters at Work. Hopefully, it's just as wonderful. Stay tuned. In about 13 or so minutes, we are going to review the Loki season finale, which has the internet abuzz with all kinds of theories and feelings. And honestly, it was awesome. So please stay tuned to this channel. We are doing the season finale of Loki. So for Dibes, for myself, we'll catch you next week for another episode of Monsters at Work. Thanks for watching, everybody.